What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 185, and we start today's episode off with a game against QPR here on the weekend. And as you can see by the team, quite a few changes to it, because we did of course have a game on Thursday night against Hoffenheim where we won by 3-1, but despite that victory we did exit the Europa League at around the 32 stage due to the away goal ruling. So coming into this game, there were changes due to fitness but also due to form. Despite winning the game by 2 clear goals, there was only a couple of players out there that were really on top of their games, and one of those was Lazari, who would start this game. But I gotta be honest, I still haven't found the right feel with this Arsenal team. I'm still not really liking some of the players in there, even though they do suggest that they're quite good. Obviously Edin Dzeko has this shot here, being one of those players, and you know, the formation as well, I should point out, I still haven't really settled on the formation I like. I still believe that the 4-4-2 Diamond Central is the best formation for this team, but I'm still not sure. And for the most part, it's just been a really cagey beginning to our Arsenal career, because despite the fact we've still only lost one game, which was that game against Hoffenheim, not the last one but the first leg we had against them, I'm still not feeling too optimistic about chances of even completing our aim this year of qualifying for the Champions League next year. And of course, if that does happen, we could be getting the sack. But still, we do indeed take on QPR for the first game of today's episode here in a nice little goal decision system here. It's been a while since I've seen this. I don't know why, it's just a really trivial thing. Like, it's just always funny to see it in the game, you know. But even so, after that free kick which hit the bar from Queen's Park Rangers there, it was a pretty lackluster game from both teams, because there were chances for both sides. QPR in the game for a lot of it. Szczesny had to make a great save there in stoppage time to make sure we would stay at 0-0 here, as we went on a break and Miyaichi gets onto the ball, finds Edin Dzeko, and as Dzeko runs clear here, I was almost certain I was going to score, but I completely messed up the finish, and I can't really blame Dzeko for that. It's more my poor finishing. But it was a really lackluster game from both sides, because even though there were some chances, neither team was really going for it. You know, it was more like a case of, you know, we'll take the draw, but if we can get ourselves a chance, that'll be cool. But you know, the draw is the most important thing. Just not making sure we don't lose is the most important thing, I should say. So it was a really frustrating game for us, and those 0-0 draws at home to QPR, no disrespect to QPR, but those are the games we need to win. You know, if we want to finish in the top 4, if we want to qualify for the Champions League next season, if we want to stay as Arsenal manager, we need to win those games, you know, not just get the draws in them. So a frustrating draw. Yes, you can put it down to tiredness for some of the players that were still out there that played on Thursday night. Yes, a couple of the players, you know, weren't too convincing, but for the most part I didn't really do my job controlling the players, and in the end the 0-0 draw was frustrating, but that's just how it is. Still following out a look at the squad report, as you can see how the players are currently doing. Obviously, as we've only just came to the squad, it's not really our squad, it's more the Arsene Wenger's squad that obviously got the sack before we joined, so it's not our squad just yet, but there are some players in there that we brought into the first team that are already looking pretty decent. Unlu and Ryan Sarr as well. It's a shame to see that Kagan Holland has not increased in any attributes yet, and I did say that there's a possibility he could have the potential glitch, but I hope not. We'll have to wait and see though. But still, as you can see, 11 games to go in the season. We're 3 points behind both Manchester United and Manchester City, who are in 3rd and 4th. As you can see though, they've both got a game in hand on us, as do Spurs, who are only 3 points behind us. 9th place to 3rd place, I would say it's anyone's game. You can't even rule out Everton in 9th place, who are 8 points behind 4th place. It's going to be a really frantic finish, and I do expect a couple of those teams to drop off, probably Everton and Southampton. Maybe Spurs, but I think they might keep faith with us, because they have got a really decent squad in the game. But even so, it's going to be a really tight finish to the end of this season, and if everyone's firing on all cylinders, it could be one of the closest top 4 races in recent years. Still, we do take on Manchester City for the second of 3 games of today's episode here, travelling to the Etihad, and as you can see, 6 points now separating us. They won their game in hand, so did United. So coming into this game with 11 games to go, 6 points separating us. Quite frankly, this game was a must-win game. You know, not just get the draw, get the win. We have to. Yes, we're away from home. Yes, City are very decent at home. We need to win this game though, because quite frankly, with that gap being as it is, with so few games left in the season, we need to pick out the 3 points in this game and make sure we do leave and go back to London with the win in the bag. Which is why I was very pleased to see in the first 11 minutes, Fernando even gave Manchester City the lead. Got there on the third attempt. Fernando gave Manchester City the lead after Cavani went down the left-hand side, crossed the ball in, and Uruguayan picked out the Brazilian as the South American players linked up, and Fernando made it 1-0. So the worst possible start to a must-win game, right? City taking the lead, and us looking all at sea, because in the 29th minute, a great chance for City to make it 2-0. James Milner going down his left-hand side and taking on Callum Chambers. He checks back and finds Gael Clichy. The former Arsenal left-back finds Cavani, who shoots, and it's a good save by the goalkeeper. And Holland gets the ball away. So still 1-0 to City in this game. And in the first half, it was all City. We were barely in the game at all. We had to thank Szczesny for that save. And in the 45th minute here, as Cavani stands over this free kick, it's a great chance to make it 2-0 as I'm bringing the wall forward here. Cavani is eventually waiting to take the free kick as the referee just basically lets me take 8 players into the wall. Just doing everything possible to try and put Manchester City off. And in the end, Cavani runs over it. And Yohan Cabaye, with his weaker left foot, almost caught us all by surprise there, as his shot goes just over the bar. So what a fantastic goal that would have been. But it was still 1-0 to City here. But as you can see from the goalkeeper, we pass out from the back. Mesut Ozil goes down his left-hand side and takes it around Sami and Nasri, and eventually holds the ball up and finds Kieran Gibbs down the left-hand side. The left-back takes on Zabaleta, rolls it through towards Danny Welbeck, takes it around his man and shoots, but it's a good stop by Ruffier, and eventually City get the ball away. So still 1-0 in this game, and that was our first attempt, in all honesty, in the entire first half. We were terrible. So in the second half, we needed a fast start, we needed a response, and as you can see, a few minutes after the restart here, Alexis Sanchez finds Rodrigo Lazari, and unfortunately for us, Ruffier makes another great save and keeps it at 1-0. Probably should have finished that, in all honesty, but I didn't really get the accuracy right. So it was still 1-0 to Manchester City. But a good chance here in the 73rd minute. Again, it's Lazari on the ball, getting tackled, but as it comes to Alexis Sanchez, he finds Lazari, lovely back heel into Ramsey, he picks out Joel Campbell, nice little move, but again, it's Ruffier making another great save and keeping it at 1-0. So frustrating, because in the second half, we were on top. City barely had a sniff of that goal. We were looking very, very threatening. We just couldn't find ourselves the equalising goal until stoppage time, when Danny Welbeck heads the ball in from a Ryo Miyaichi cross and puts the ball past Ruffier and makes it City 1, Arsenal 1. So finally we had the breakthrough, finally we had the goal, the equaliser, and in a must-win game, well, you know, we just didn't do the job in the first half. I wasn't defensively set in the first half at all, and in the end, we just have to say, I guess a point's better than nothing, right? I mean, yes, we needed the 3 points, and that can't be understated. Because of the league position, because of how few games there are, we needed the 3 points, but at the end of the day, just making sure we didn't lose the game, I guess, was a lot better than nothing, or so I thought, because in the 90th minute, wouldn't you just know it, Rodrigo Lazari turns the ball in and makes it City 1, Arsenal 2, and just the most incredible end to this game at the Etihad in a must-win game. To be losing the game for 80 in-game minutes and to be seconds away from getting nothing, we end up claiming a massive 3 points with 2 goals in quick succession, and Rodrigo Lazari makes it City 1, Arsenal 2. So a massive goal from our young Italian, and he was fantastic against Hoffenheim on the previous Thursday night, and he really does have a bright future with that potential to be special. Arsene Wenger wasn't using him, but I certainly am. I definitely like the look of this guy, and as he makes it 2-1, well, he knows that he's going to have a big part to play in the rest of the season, not just that game. So what a fantastic win for us. Genuinely one of the most incredible endings to a game I've ever had in career mode. To score 2 late goals like that in a must-win game in stoppage time was just extraordinary. So I was really pleased. I mean, playing the game, you know, to be losing for 80 in-game minutes, knowing that we had to win the game, and a draw probably wouldn't be enough, you know, on a grand scheme of things, with the remaining at 10 games to go. I was sitting there thinking, oh man, if I lose this game, I could definitely be getting the sack, you know. But, you know, to go ahead and pull it out of the bag so late on was just so relieving for us, and I was really pleased with that. And we do take on Newcastle for the third and final game of today's episode here, as they come and take us on the Emirates. So obviously, absolutely buzzing after that massive win against Manchester City, cutting the gap at the, between 5th and 4th and even 3rd now to just 3 points. With 10 games to go, it's getting very tight at the top, but these are the games now we we must start to win. Our home form does need to improve as we do go into the latter stages of the season, because we drew 0-0 against QPR, we drew 0-0 against Sunderland, a rival of Newcastle. So coming into this game, we had to make sure we got ourselves the win. And as you can see, the first chance of the game fell in the 9th minute. Matthew Debussy taking the ball around David Santon, the former Newcastle right back, crosses the ball in and picks out Danny Welbeck, and Welbeck makes it 1-0 to Arsenal 9 minutes in. So that was a really nice passing goal there. Very, very nice build up, patient build up really. You know, I didn't really feel the need to force it like I usually do and either lump a ball forward or just, you know, sprint down the wing and cross it. Obviously in the end I did cross it from the wing, but it was more like a patient sort of build up to get into that right hand channel there and cross the ball in. So I thought that was a really nice goal to make it Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. And in the 23rd minute here, Bryce Zagalov's shot is well saved by Karl Darlow, but as Edin Dzeko turns in the rebound, the Bosnian goes to celebrate. However, he is denied the goal by the linesman's flag, and correctly so in the end as well, because as you'll see on the replay, he did stray into an offside position as Bryce Zagalov went to take the shot there. So still Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0, but to start this game off and look as threatening as we did was just a really, really encouraging sign for us, because after what happened at the Etihad Stadium, you know, being 1-0 down in the first half and barely looking in the game at all, to be looking so strong was just fantastic. And that's why in the 33rd minutes we made it 2-0. This goal wasn't going to be chalked off. Another goal for Rodrigo Lazari. I was very pleased to know that the 3 points weren't exactly in the bag, but they were looking pretty certain. And that was a really nice goal as well. What a fantastic ball that is by Rani Inlu. Superb little through ball by our new holding midfielder, and Lazari could not miss. So Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0, and in the 56th minute here, Szczesny kicks the ball out. He finds his man, who picks out Rodrigo Lazari. Lazari takes it around Jack Cole back here. He's got a man running through, but instead he plays it out wide towards Aaron Ramsey. He roulettes around David Santon, drills in a cross. Who's in the centre? Edin Dzeko, and this time Dzeko is not going to have his goal chalked off for offside as he celebrates and makes it Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0. So 3-0 up in this game, 12 minutes after the restart into the second half, and the points now are in the bag, and we are certainly going to claim the win. So Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0, and later on Newcastle did have a chance with this free kick here as they stand over it, and eventually a shot is taken, but it drifts just over Szczesny's bar and behind for a goal kick. So still 3-0, the points secured, and hopefully a clean sheet secured as well. And as you can see in the 86th minute here, Rodrigo Lazari fake shots around Vlad Kiriakez, sprints through the centre, great chance to make it 4-0. Can he do so? Yes he can. Chips the ball over the goalkeeper Darlow. Very sweet indeed, and Lazari makes it Arsenal 4, Newcastle 0. So Lazari puts the cherry on the icing on the cake in a fantastic performance against Newcastle United as we run out big, clear 4-0 victories, and 2 good wins in a row there. That City game was very important, and now I'm hoping we're going to pick up some really good end of season form, and it's going to fire us into the Champions League places, because we're going to need those big wins against City. We're going to need these big emphatic wins against teams like Newcastle if we are going to claim a place in next year's Champions League. But as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, then please do leave a like, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.